Sales could easily be identified as the most important part of any business across sectors, since the organizations manage to generate revenue only through sales. The company grows in volume and crosses the break-even point, leading to profits only when the transactions keep flowing in. And these transactions are certainly backed up and bagged by the sales team. No matter how much time and effort you put in for research, you will be able to ensure returns only when you make sales. Otherwise, all the aforementioned investments would just go in vain. Therefore, it is very important to have a dedicated and efficient sales team that drives sales profitably and brings in money from the potential customers. In this session, we will jump into the various sales strategies along with some effective ways to manage the sales team so that your organization can scale new heights of success.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.
Hello friends, welcome to this course on sales management. So here we know that as the name suggests, we'll be talking about sales here, sales management. So we have come across a lot of people visiting our homes and places regarding to the promotions of a lot of items. So we'll be actually neglecting them, but we shouldn't. There will be sales executive, sales managers, sales representatives, and also sales engineers. So we'll be not giving them value because they are into sales. So that is not the actual case in which it is actually working on. If you're actually considering any company, the revenue in which the company is bringing in is through their sales. No matter how much ever research you're doing, how much ever content you are putting into it, and how much ever time and effort you are actually making sure that it is being going on to your product. In order to develop your product or service which you are providing, you need to put in a lot of effort and time. And the particular technology in which you are using or you are utilizing to make sure that the product in which you are making is the best of quality. So in order to achieve all those things, what you're doing, you are taking a lot of effort from your side. But after taking a lot of effort from your side, if you're not generating the sales of your product or of your service which you are providing to your potential customers. So that is the main reason why sales is important and sales management is important. Only by having sales and generating sales, we'll be able to get the transactions and also the revenue running to the company. And only then you'll be getting the enough profits to run the company, and unless and until you are doing that, you may not be running into profit. No matter how much our time, effort, technology, or whatever you put into, unless and until you are getting your sales, you'll not be running into profit. So that's exactly what we'll be covering in this particular course on sales management. So without wasting much time, let us move on to our agenda and see what are the various topics or what are the various modules that we are having on this particular course on sales management. So these are the various topics that we have got in this particular course on sales management. Starting off with, what is sales management? That is the first module that we'll be covering in this particular course on sales management. We'll be having a brief understanding on what is sales management. After understanding what is sales management, we'll be moving on to our next module where we'll be looking into the next topic, which is nothing but objectives of sales management. Here, we'll be looking into the various objectives that we are having as a sales team or managing your sales teams. So in order to do that, we are having certain objectives. What are those objectives? That is exactly what we'll be looking into in this particular module. After completely going over this particular module, we'll be moving on to understand the benefits. What are the various benefits that we'll be gaining by following sales management? That is exactly what we'll be looking into here. After understanding on the benefits that you are gaining out of by following sales management, we'll be moving on to our functions. What are the functions of sales management? What are the basic functions that you need to be following if you are into sales management? And then we'll be moving on to the principles. What are the principles that you should be following? So whenever you are following something, there will be certain principles that you would need to be following so that you are doing it in the right way possible. So here we'll be talking about exactly that, the principle. What are the various principles that you need to be following in sales management? Next, we would be moving on to the strategies. What are the various strategies that we can enable or that we can follow to get the maximum out of our sales team. So here, we'll be looking at the strategies, the best practices, what are the tips and tricks that you are having to follow in your sales management so that you can bring the maximum benefit out of this. Next, we'll be looking into the sales manager aspect. What is his responsibility? What are the tasks which are being held by him? And what is the main task and activities that he is going through in his daily life? So that is actually what we'll be looking into here, the responsibilities which a sales manager is possessing. Then we'll be looking on to our final topic for this particular course, that is nothing but qualities of a sales manager. What are the various qualities that a sales manager should be possessing? Here, in detail, we'll be seeing about the qualities that a sales manager would be possessing, right? So these are the various topics that we are having in this particular course on sales management. So without wasting much time, let's dive deeper into each of these courses one by one. Coming to our very first module, what is sales management? So that is exactly what we'll be covering in this particular entire course, right? So what are the basic things that you need to be understanding in sales management? Let us have a deeper look into that. Sales management is regarding attaining the necessary tasks done to get more sales for the organization. So that is obviously the main task of a sales management, right? So we need to be generating more sales and bringing in more transactions, bringing in more revenues, and also bringing in more profit for your company, whichever you are working on. Let it be any sector, any domain which you're working into, any organization you are working in. Irrespective of all those things, we need to be having a sales team. And each and every sales team main motive is to generate sales. That is exactly what we have seen in this particular first point. Then moving on to the second point, sales management is all about planting the need for purchasing your product onto your prospective customer. Planting the need for purchasing your product. So the customer or the prospective customer or the potential customer whom you think would be a potential and loyal customer, we should be actually planting a need for them to buy your product. Only then they'll be buying a product. And that is exactly what we need to be looking, what we need to be doing. We need to be making sure that they are actually in need of our product. We should be convincing them, or we should be making them understand why they should buy our product and what are the advantages that they will be getting by taking our product or by taking our service. So that's exactly what the basic thing you should be looking into. Planting the need for your prospective customers to purchase your item or to avail your service, whichever you're providing. Then comes sales management entails in developing new selling strategies, gathering and training sales resources, and coordinating to pursue the sales goals. So obviously, in order to run your sales team, you need to be having the right resources. You should be gathering the right resources, right? You should be developing a sales team, making sure that they know how to make the sales, what are the strategies they need to be following, and all those things. In order to get that done, you should be training them. You should be upskilling them. You should be making sure that whatever strategies they are following is currently updated with the market trends. They are not following the past trends or the trends or strategies which have not been productive or successful. So they need to be upskilled. They need to be given training. And apart from that, we should be gaining upon the strategies. We should be coming up with new strategies. What is the current market like? What are the trends going like? And how can we adapt to that particular trend so that we don't be outdated? So in order to do that, we should be updated. We should be knowing what are the new strategies which we can bring in. Maybe there are a lot of strategies which are existing in the market right now. But apart from that, what are the novelty that we can bring into picture? What are the advantages or what are the things that are new to the customers in which we'll be able to generate business? So all those things can be considered here by looking into new selling strategies. Apart from that, we should be coordinating with your team members within your team and also from the marketing team and also with the several other teams which are cooperating with your sales. So you need to be having proper communication within your team as well. So these are the various tasks and responsibilities and activities that are involved in day-to-day sales management activities. And then coming to the next point. Sales management is a process of developing your sales force, coordinating sales operations, and implementing the sales strategies to achieve the target. So whichever company you're working into, whichever product you're manufacturing, whichever service which you're providing, irrespective of all that thing, we should be making the sales. That's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be implementing the sales strategies that you have planned in the previous point. We talked about the new strategies which you can bring into picture. Here, we are trying to implement whatever we have planned for. What are the new strategies? What are the new techniques which we'll be able to employ to get more benefits, to get more sales and transactions and revenue and profit, right? So that's exactly what we are seeing here. Then we need to be developing a sales force. We talked about acquiring a right force and also upskilling them. And you need to be actually having a sales team which are coordinating, which are actually into sales. Even if sometimes they actually doesn't know, or they are new to the particular sales team which you are working for. Maybe they're new to the product, maybe they're new to the service, maybe they are even new to the category of the business which you are doing. So irrespective of all those things, developing your sales force is the primary important thing that you need to be focusing on in your sales management team. In order to bring in decent sales and revenue to your organization, whichever you are working, it is a must to have an efficient sales management team. It is only through this sales management team that you are able to bring in sales, transactions, revenue, and thereby profit. So it is only by creating volume of your product or on your sales, on your service, whichever you're providing. So in order to get all those things done, you need to be having an effective and efficient sales management team. Without a sales team, you will not be able to run any business. So that is how important a sales management team is for any company or any organization. Now let's move on to our very next module, which is nothing but objectives of sales management. What are the various objectives or goals or aim which a sales management team is having to promote your products or promote the services which you are offering to your customers, right? So here we'll be seeing rightly on the objectives. Let's move on to that. So these are the various objectives which I have put forward for you as objectives of sales management. Here they are: revenue generation, increasing sales volume, profit generation, organizational growth, market leadership, convert prospects to customers, motivate sales force, and guide the marketing team. Right? So these are the various objectives which we have got. Coming to revenue generation, as I've mentioned, irrespective of the company which you're working in, domain which you're into, the product which you're selling, the service which you're providing to your customers, all those things can be happening only by creating sales. And only by creating the sales, you'll be getting the revenue. So in order to generate revenue, it is a must to have an efficient sales team. And that is the main objective, to generate sales and generate revenue. So that was the first point in our objectives. Then coming to increasing sales volume. We'll be able to bring in more transactions, more sales, and more revenue, right? So the volume in which we are getting, or the transaction which we are able to generate, or the complete business transaction, right? So all these things are the objectives. So that is also one of the most important aim you would be seeking into bring to your business, right? So now first one is sales generations or revenue generation, and next would be sales volume, increasing your sales volume. Next would be profit generation. So if you're able to generate revenue and increase the sales volume, it is very obvious that you will be able to generate profit. So what is the only way to generate profit? You need to be selling your products or services. So how can you sell your products? You need to be having a great product in the first place. But that is not enough. You need to be having an efficient sales team to do that. And thereby you will be able to generate revenue. And through revenue, you will be able to generate profit because you are increasing your sales volume. So that is also one thing which needs to be considered as an objective. Then comes organizational growth. When you are actually able to generate profit and increasing your revenue and sales volume, the company itself, the organization itself is growing. Whichever domain you're into, whichever category you are doing your business, under whichever manager you're working for, it is very obvious that if you're able to inculcate all these things, obviously your organization in which you are working for will be growing. Then comes market leadership. This is one main important point that you should be considering. If you are into electronic items like mobile phones, then how can you be a market leader? You know that there are a lot of companies who are competing, right? In Android versions, you're having OnePlus, and iOS, you're having iPhone. So we can be considering all of them as market leader. So how can you be a market leader in your business? Maybe you are into any other type of business like food items. So how can you be a market leader? We know that in FMCG or in food items, Nestle is a market leader. Most of the FMCG food item products are being manufactured by Nestle. So Nestle can be called as a market leader in that category. And you should be thinking, how can you be a market leader in whatever domain or whatever products you are offering? Maybe it's a shoe that you're manufacturing and offering to your customers as a product. Maybe it's any other service which you would like to offer to your customers. So in whatever thing you're doing, in whatever sector you're working for, try to be the market leader and study how can you be a market leader and you can reach that particular position. So how can that be achieved? By having a better product which your competitor is not providing, right? You can be standing out in the market. You need to stand out in the market. And just by having all these things would not be doing. You need to be generating your sales, and you need to be having an effective sales team. And you need to be reaching to your customers in wherever they are located. You should be actually available to all your customers. So that is also one main point which you should be considering, being the market leader. Then comes convert prospects to customers. So converting prospects to customers is also a main important point, because your prospects are actually getting converted to customers. Only then you are actually able to generate sales, revenue, transactions, and profit. So it is very much important for you to convert them, to convert each of the potential customers or prospects to customers. How can you get them to your customer base? How can you get them not just to be a customer, but also to be a loyal customer? How can you provide the satisfying or the best service which you can offer to them? Even after selling that particular product to that particular customer, how do you treat them? Even after the sales, how are you considering them? So all those things would be coming into picture. Then comes motivating sales force. Motivating sales force is actually the most important point that you need to be focusing within your team. So most of the things which I have mentioned needs to be applying in the outside world also. But motivating your sales force would be within your team. All the employees who are part of your sales team should be motivated. They should be having the energy and enthusiasm, the vibe in which they create while talking to your customers or talking to their customers, whichever you find as a potential customer. They should be having the feeling to buy your product. And that feeling can be brought in by your sales representative or sales executive or whichever person who are actually trying to get the particular sale, right? So the energy which they provide, the kind of vibe which they create, the kind of need which they make in the mind of your prospect customers is exactly what which makes them to buy your product. So motivating your sales force to completely, genuinely work for your company, to promote sales, to promote the awareness among your customer base. So all those things would be coming to picture here as well. Then comes guide the marketing team. Marketing is also one of the most important factor which affects the sales of any company. Irrespective of whatever products you have, which you would be able to make it a sell to your customers, or irrespective of whatever service which you're providing. If you are not promoting it in the right manner, maybe you are having a product which is actually suitable for old age people, maybe 50 plus, and the promotions are actually going on for 30 plus. And that would not be benefiting for your company. Maybe you are running your marketing promotions and campaigns, but that would not be helpful for you because your potential customers are of the age group 50 plus and the promotions are actually going for 30 plus. So how can you consider that as a marketing campaign which would be effective for your company to generate sales? It is very much necessary for you to guide your marketing team in the right way so that how well it can be promoted to your customers. You will be able to guide them to get more sales. If you are not promoting in the right way to the right customers, the right audience, in the right locations, you would not be getting the enough sales. Maybe you're doing all the marketing things, but not in the right way, which will not be bringing in revenue and transaction for your company, and the number of sales which you will be getting would be minimized. So these are the various objectives any sales management team would be having, irrespective of whichever domain which you are working into. Moving on to our very next module, the benefits of sales management. So anyway, if you are following something, we would be seeing some benefit out of it. If not, we'll not be trying out it in the first place. So here, we'll be talking about the benefits or the advantages or the importance in which that you should be following sales management. So here, you will be seeing regarding the benefits, the advantages, the importance of following sales management. Let us dive deeper into this particular module on the benefits that you will be gaining by following or by implementing sales management within your organization or your team. So these are the various points or the benefits which I have put forward for you under sales management. By following sales management, what are the benefits that you will be gaining? The first one would be assists in reaching the sales target. Next one, boosts sales performance, increases the quality of sales processes, enhances the team's performance, reduces cost of distribution of products, improves communication within the team, provides organized sales data, and finally, enables precise sales forecasting. So these are all very important tools or things which you would be able to take into consideration while you are doing your business. For example, in following sales management, it will be assisting you to reach your sales target. You would be having a monthly target, maybe quarterly target, or annual targets. So irrespective of whatever targets you may be having even 1 week targets as well. So depending upon the company which you're working for, the area which you're into, or the products which you're marketing, it will be depending upon all these factors as well. So these will be helping you to reach your sales target. Whatever your target may be, you will be able to plan accordingly, you will be able to execute, you will be able to take the guidance, and you are upskilling yourself, and you are actually needing or getting all the strategies which you need to be implementing while you're trying to make any sales. So thereby following all these things, you would be able to reach your sales target, and thereby you will be able to get benefit out of by following sales management itself, because it is helping you to assist you to reach whatever you require or whatever sales target you need to be achieving. Next one would be boosting sales performance. So if one employee is able to get benefit out of by implementing sales management, then how can you try to implement, or how well can you be inculcating with all the other employees as well? It is very certain that even if one person is able to adapt and benefit out of this, it is obvious that the other employees will also be getting into that. Maybe the first person who actually got the advantage and got the benefits is because he is a fast learner and he is actually adapting or incorporating all these things into his strategies. And slowly all the other employees will also be getting benefit out of it. And if each and every employee is getting benefited, it is the entire organization who is benefiting out of it. The number of transactions, the number of sales volume, and the revenue generation would be going high. So we'll be able to boost our sales performance of our entire team by following sales management. Next one would be increases the quality of sales processes. The quality of sales processes is also one main important point. If you are not having the right process, maybe you are having a lot of processes which are involved in the sales processes, in order to get all these tasks done in the right manner, maybe it won't be working properly. So what can be done there? How can the sales process be optimized? So all the process activities which are involved in a purchase or in a sale of a product or service which you are providing, you need to be focusing on the process which the sales team is going through, which the customer is going through. And if the process seems to be hectic, the customers would be drawing back. The customer would be withdrawing their offer. So we need to be following, we are actually accommodating a smooth sales process so that the customer is not getting tired, or the customer is not rethinking on the decision which he have made, so that he will be backing out. So in order to avoid all those things, we'll be able to increase the quality of the sales processes, which will help us to bring in more sales. That is also one main important point that you should be keeping in your mind. Next comes enhances the sales team's performance. It is not just that you will be able to increase the sales and revenue, the entire team's performance will be going high. If the team is performing well in one category, if your one team is working on one type of product and it is working for one single team, then imagine when you implement the same strategies for your other sales team. Maybe it is a different product which they are actually selling and they're actually promoting and they're actually trying to generate the sales for that particular product. So accommodating these new strategies to several departments, you will be able to understand what are the various strategies that are benefiting us, and how are we getting success by following these many strategies, and which is the best strategy which you need to be implying to which all products. So maybe if you're actually following a strategy for one particular product, it is not mandatory that if you are using the same strategy for a different product, it will be working. It might be different for different products, different categories, and it goes on like that. So you should be actually trying what is the right strategy which you would be able to inculcate and bring in more benefit. So all these things would be coming into picture. And by having an effective and efficient sales team, and you will be able to get that sorted by having an effective and efficient sales team within your organization. Next comes reduces cost on distribution of products. So whenever you make an order, you are getting it delivered to your location. If you're ordering a furniture, for example, you are not the person who is actually carrying the furniture from the store to your location, right? It is the company or the store which ensures that the logistics team is actually made possible to your location, so that you will be able to avail those products to your location in the right time without any damages caused to your furniture. So if you are having an effective sales team, the sales team would be able to coordinate with the logistics teams as well. They'll be able to convey what would be the sales going on. Are there any follow-ups which are going on? And do you think that there will be sales made today? And how many number of sales would be made today for this particular product in that location? So all those things can be coordinated well ahead, even before the sales purchase is happening. So that is also one main advantage or benefits that you will be gaining. You would be able to convey to your logistics team saying that, hey, there is this particular order pending and this might happen today, and this is the product which they are offered, they are actually planning to buy, and it is of this many quantity, and it is of this many size, and you need to be delivering this product to this particular location by this time. So be ready for that if that particular purchase is made or the particular order is made, right? So all these data can be conveyed to your logistics team and to that transporting team so that you will be able to reduce the cost of distribution, because if you know that by the end of the day, into this particular location, you're having these many items to be transported by several orders. Maybe it is not one single person who made the order. It may be 3-4 person who combined order 3-4 products to their locations. So if you are having an effective and efficient sales team, it will be easy for you to reduce the expenses or costs occurring on your distribution of products to their location after buying. So the furniture is just an example which I have given for you to understand. And there may be several other examples as well. Next comes improves communication within the team. So sales manager should be knowing what is the kind of sales you are generating and what is the kind of sales which is pending, that is on live, open sales, right? So maybe the customer is interested, but he has not closed the deal yet. So how can we offer a better offer to that particular customer whom do you think is a potential customer and would be a loyal customer? So for each kind of customers, we should be having a different approach. And only by communicating this to your sales manager or to your concerned team lead, you'll be able to get to know what is the kind of offer that you can give to this particular customer, seeing the potential of that customer. Maybe if you offer them a discount, in the future, they'll be buying more number of products. So it is very evident that the kind of strategies and the kind of approaches that you should be having for different customers are different. So that is why we need to be actually having an effective and efficient communication within the team, asking them, these are the open sales which are going on. They have not been closed. They are potential customers. And how many such cases are existing? What is the kind of product they are looking at? And how often are they contacting you? So depending on all these things, we'll be able to take a better and informed decision. Then comes provides organized sales data. Organized sales data is also one main point that you should be considering, because the reason why I'm saying that is because, if you know that annually during this particular month, you are having these many sales. So it is very much evident that the next year also during that particular month or during that particular period, you would be facing similar trends, right? So if you know that by Christmas or by the end of December or by New Year, you would be knowing that it is Christmas, it is New Year, and people are enjoying and people would like to move out and make new purchases for Christmas. So it is very evident that you would be having more number of sales. So just by calculating such data, now it need not be Christmas all the time. It may be any other festivals or any other cultural activities as well. So depending upon the sales data, you would be knowing which all category people would be interested in this particular product and what would be the right time to make the right particular discount for that particular product. So if you are able to get an organized sales data for that, we will be able to take right decision in the right time, getting us more number of sales with the right customers, so that we'll be able to make the right offers and make the prospects to our customers and our customers to our loyal customers. Next comes enables precise sales forecasting. So we know that the power of data science is increasing vastly. And data science is actually help us to forecast the things, the data, and also the sales which we would be getting. So the previous sales data would be helping us to remind or to get to know what would be the kind of sales which we would be getting in the future. So all those things would be coming into picture by only having an effective sales management team, because every sales management team would be looking into all these things. They'll be looking into the data, the kind of transaction which is happening, the amount which has been transacted, and all such activities as well. So these are the various benefits or advantages that you would be benefiting out of by following sales management. These are the few which I've mentioned right now, and there might be many more which you can be finding out on your own. Moving on to our very next module, functions of sales management. What are the various functions that you should be taking care of if you are into sales, if you're into sales management? That's exactly what we'll be seeing here. Let's have a look at that. So these are the various functions that we will be having as part of sales management, which are sales research and planning, demand creation, setting targets, identifying quality leads, improving the sales efficiency, monitoring the performance, analyzing the reports. So these are the various functions that you need to be following or you need to be taking care of if you're into sales management. Starting off with the first point, sales research and planning. It is very much important for you to have a research done so that you would be knowing what is the kind of promotions that you need to be doing, what is the kind of need your customers are having, and how can you have the right approach to the right customers to make the sale possible. So in order to get all that thing done, you need to be having your research done. You should be taking well-informed decision. And thereby having your research done, you'll be able to plan accordingly and you'll be able to implement things. So failing to plan is planning to fail. So which is very much important for you to plan your things accordingly and very well implement that according to your plan. And how can you get the plan? By research. So it is very much important for you to do the right research and take the right informed decision and by creating a well plan ahead for your sales team. Next comes demand creation. So supply and demand comes hand in hand, right? So if you are actually having more supply when there is no demand, there is no value for your product. And when the supply is very minimal and the demand is high, there is high value for your product. So demand creation is very well important. And if you're having enough supplies and there is no demand at all, then all these products will be going in vain. And the kind of effort, the time, and the revenue and the money which you have put in, the capital, the investments, the resources, all would be going in vain. So it is very much important for you to create the demand for your products. It may be your product which you're marketing or selling, it may be the service which you're offering to your customers. So first, you need to be focusing on the demand creation. You should be convincing them that this is a need for you. You need to buy this particular product. You need to be, canvassing your customers, right? So in order to do that, you should be creating the demand. Only then the customers will be interested to buy your product and they'll be actually making the orders. And only then you'll be able to supply your products to your customers when they require. So demand creation is also one of the most important point or the function that you need to be taking care of. Then comes setting targets. So only by setting targets, your employees, your teammates, or your team members would be working. So depending upon the target, they'll be working. If they are not given a target, they will be easily achieve your target and then the remaining time they would be sitting simply. So we should be knowing what is the right target for your employees. What is the right target which you can give to your team members in your sales team so that they will be able to achieve it and they will be working simultaneously for that as well. And they would not be working or sitting simply without doing any work just by giving them a simple task or simple target. So setting target is also important, maybe monthly target, weekly target, maybe quarterly target or annual target. So depending upon the team which you're working on, the size of your team, you will be able to coordinate things accordingly and you will be able to get the right target. So in order to have the right target also, you should be doing the right research. What would be the kind of approach that you should be having, what would be the product that you should be having, and what is the target for each and every product. So depending upon the product which you're working on, maybe you're having a lot of products. So for each of the product, the target would be different depending upon the needs or depending upon the kind of sales which you are getting it. So it is very much important for you to set the right target to your right employees within the team who are actually promoting the particular product. So depending upon whichever product they are working on, they should be assigned the right targets. Then comes identifying quality leads. You might be thinking of prospects, right? You should be thinking that they are the potential customers who are having the potential to become your customer. So they are your potential customers. And identifying them is also one of the most important thing to have. Because if you're getting any lead, maybe you are actually offering your customer an offer so that they'll be able to get your product at a cheaper price. And if you think that you can get more number of sales and more number of transactions happening from the same customer, it is more necessary for you to give them the right offer, which you would be able to make, provided you are getting in benefit or profit by making the sale, and the customer or the particular person who is buying your product is also getting benefited. So if you know that this particular customer is able to generate more number of sales in the near future, you can make the necessary offer as well. So that is also one of the most important points that you should be keeping in your mind, identifying quality leads. Maybe it is not just that particular customer who is bringing in sales, it is just through his family or his relatives or through his neighbors or through word of mouth strategy, right? Word of mouth is one of the most important marketing strategies, which is of high value. No matter how much of an ad you put, how much of a promotions you give, how much of a digital marketing campaign you are having. So irrespective of all that, if you're having word of mouth marketing strategy, wherein which your own customers are talking about your product and promoting your product, there is no marketing strategy which is more effective and efficient than that. So if you're able to understand such quality leads and give them the right offers, they'll be able to get things done for you from your end. The next point would be improving sales efficiency, the efficiency with which you are able to generate sales. Maybe in order to get some sales, you need to be going to the customer's place. Maybe you need to be visiting a customer's residence. If you're actually into any kind of business, into furniture business or into any kind of business wherein which you need to go to the customer's area and study their area and give them a plan to build something, then you need to be traveling. You need to be maintaining or you need to be actually focusing on the expenses that you need to be bringing in. to run your sales team. So you should be actually having all these things sorted. You should be knowing what is the kind of amount or what is the kind of budget that you're having to bring in to improve your sales efficiency. So if you're actually functioning in the right way possible, you will be able to allocate the right budgets and you will be able to bring in sales with most efficiency as well. Next comes monitoring the performance. So as I said, there will be a lot of team working within your company, within your team itself, so that they'll be able to promote or they'll be able to make the sale for different kind of items. So you should be monitoring how is the performance going on. What is the number of sales that they're able to generate? Are their targets achieved or are they underperforming? Who are the persons or who are the employees or who are the sales representatives or executives who are underperforming? And by how much are they underperforming? And who are the persons or who are the people who are able to generate more number of sales or who have achieved the target with minimal amount of time and even started achieving or started working on the next month's target? So we should be monitoring and we should be making necessary steps as well. So maybe if there is a problem which is existing within the company and all the employees are affected by it, it is our responsibility, it is the management's responsibility to come into picture, to take the place and to pitch in and to remove all those particular hurdles or struggles which the employees are going through and make it smoother for them to perform as well. Next comes analyzing the reports. So as I mentioned before, the sales team would be managing the reports, how much ever transactions are happening, what is the revenue coming into picture, what is the number of sales that you have got in this particular product for this particular month. So depending upon all these things, you will be able to segregate, you will be able to categorize on organized data, wherein which you will be able to get more value, more understanding, and you will be able to perform well because you are having value here, because you are able to know what is the kind of performance that you have been doing and what would be the performance in the next month and how can you improve. So all these things would be your functions if you are into sales management team. Let's move on to our next module, principles of sales management. No matter whatever you're doing, whatever strategies which you are taking into picture or taking into consideration, there will be certain principles that you need to be following so that you will be able to get the maximum out of it. So here, that's exactly what we are covering, the principles of sales management. Let's have a look at that. So these are the various principles I have got for sales management. Let's have a look at that. Believe in what you sell. So if you don't believe in that particular product or in the particular service which you're offering to your customers, and if you're not satisfied with your product, it is so certain that you would not be having all the energy to sell that particular product. Maybe it's a phone which you're selling and you know that the phone which you are selling is of no value. Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe the value for money which you are getting by buying that particular phone is not enough. And if you're not consistently happy by that particular product, it is so certain that you would not be selling the product in the best way possible. So the first thing that you should be doing is believing in the product. Believing that the product is doing good and the product would be a success for your customers. So first, you should be sure that that is the case. So you should be actually having that particular trust within that particular product so that you will be able to perform and you will be able to be as a or stand as a guarantee for your customers, saying that there will be no trouble that you will be facing by making this purchase decision. So in order to get that thing done, you should be believing in whatever you are selling. So this is the first principle that I have got for you. Next comes, keep the focus on your prospect. So if you think that, someone is coming to your store to buy something which you're selling. If, for example, you are a sales member or sales executive for your store which is selling shoes. So if that is the case, when a person or when a prospect is actually appearing or approaching you into your store and actually asking for your help in getting the right shoes for him or her, then you should be actually focusing on your customer. You should not be neglecting or you should not be reluctant enough to give attention to your customer. At that particular point itself, the customers would not be happy. The customers would be like, the sales person is not having any interest in me, or they are actually not valuing me or respecting me. Respect is the key word here. If you're going to a store, just imagine yourself there. If you're going to a store to buy your shoes and there is no one assisting you and there is no one actually giving attention to what you say, and he's actually doing something else, maybe scrolling through his phone or they may be talking to his girlfriend over call. So if that is the case, you would be getting out of that particular store. No matter how much quality the particular product is giving you, you would not be wanting to be there because you are not treated right. So it is very much important for you to focus, to give focus and respect to your prospect whenever they're approaching you, your store to buy your product. Even if you're not getting your purchase or even if you're not getting the sale from them, it is most important for you to treat them right, treat them with respect and give them the focus which they actually need to receive. Next would be better prospecting brings better sales. It is right as that, right? So if you're actually prospecting the right customers whom you think that would be the right person whom you should be approaching to get the number of sales or get the sales happen by them, in that particular case, you would be getting sales from them. But in that case, if you're actually prospecting the customer in the wrong way, and if you think that this particular customer is actually in need of this particular product, which you are actually selling to them, and maybe that customer is not actually having interest to buy that particular product, or he's not in the need to buy that particular product. In such cases, the time and effort you are spending to explain all those things to your customer would be going in vain, because maybe the customer is simply paying attention to you to just understand what you need to say, or maybe for fun, or maybe his wife is going shopping and he's doing nothing and he was wandering around and simply watching there. So at that time you saw this particular guy and you were expecting him to be a prospect customer, and you finally understood that this guy is not of a value for me. Then the conversation which you had and the kind of time you have spent would not be value for you, because he's actually not interested to buy your product and he is not in the need of buying that particular product. So such scenarios needs to be eliminated. So better prospecting needs to be done to bring in better sales and revenue to your company and to you for achieve your targets. Next one would be seek to be trusted instead of being liked. Trust is most important whenever you are into doing any business. So trust is the most important quality which you need to be possessing. If someone is trusting you, that means a lot. You can't be implying anything else, or you can't be comparing how much trust would be valuing. Because if you may be liked, that can be gone in a short period of time. If you're not attending on time, or if you're not able to make it on time, all those things can be going in here and there. But if you are so sure that you can trust this person, he'll be blindly trusting you and he'll be making sure that you are actually getting the maximum out of it, because he knows that he is trusting you, and it is your responsibility to make sure that that trust at that bond is not being broken, because breaking a trust is so certain that you will not be getting any sales from the particular customer because you broke the trust. And that is how impactful breaking your trust is like. So it is very much important for you to seek trust instead of being liked. Then comes collaborate with your prospects. Collaborating with your prospect is actually nothing but making sure that the customer is actually getting what they need and you're also being benefited from it. You may be able to get that particular position by making them say about your particular product, maybe word of mouth strategy, maybe getting new customers through those particular customers who actually know you. At the same time, they should also be knowing that by doing that, they are doing the right thing. If you're referring your person or referring your family members to this particular brand or this particular product from this particular company, then the person who's actually so certain should be so certain that buying this particular product would not be bringing bad name for me or the customer who's actually promoting this particular product. So that is the kind of thing which you need to be creating there. You need to be collaborating with them, saying that they will be needing or they will be satisfying all the needs which you are actually seeking for, and all the kind of services or all the kind of things that you need to be done will be done by engaging this particular product. And if that is the case, you will be able to make a collaboration within your prospects as well. For that to happen, you need to be bringing in the trust, you need to be bringing in the value, and you need to be so certain that the customer is actually in need of buying this particular product. The next one would be showcasing the need for the particular product. Maybe the customer would be thinking that, hey, this particular product is not needed for me because I'm not having any need, or I'm not having any particular scenario in which I will be employing this or I will be using this in the near future. But even to those customers, if you explain it in the right way, making sure that all the specifications, all the features which your product is possessing, and the service which you are actually offering. Maybe if you are actually buying this particular product in this particular period of time, we're having an offer in which we'll be providing complete service for the next 5 years. So maybe it will be different for your company which you are working for. So I'm just saying an example here. So if you're doing the right move here, you will be able to take in the prospect in the right manner. They'll be thinking that, okay, fine, right now I'm not having the need for this particular product, but since I'm getting the offer for this, it is actually worth buying it. It is actually providing me value for money. And in the future, even if I don't want to use it right now, in the near future, maybe in the 3 to 4 months or the next year, I would be needing this, and this product would be safe for me to use in that particular time as well. So some customers would be willing to buy such products in such scenarios as well. So it is your responsibility to showcase the need for the particular member or particular customers to buy this particular product. Next comes, give the prospects the freedom to say no. So it is very certain that, whichever customers which you are approaching, or whichever customers who are actually coming into your store to buy your products will not be buying your product all the time. Make sure that you are giving them the space to say no. But If you're actually so certain that they are actually a customer who's actually in need of it and they actually like the product, you can go ahead. But it is not so good to push your customers. When the customers are saying no, you should be accepting the fact that they are actually in no need of buying this product and they actually didn't like the product. Because if you're not accepting them, or if you're actually not giving them the right to say no, they would be feeling that, okay, fine, they made a mistake entering into this particular store. And the next time when they require this particular need, or when they're in need of buying your product, they would be thinking, okay, fine, if I enter to this particular store, I can't get out without buying any product. And keeping that in my mind, the customer would not be even entering into your particular store. That would be the main reason why I would like to tell you that give the prospects the freedom to say no. Okay, the next one would be have consistency in whatever you do. Consistency is the main key. If you're doing something for the first time, it's so certain that you would not be getting in the right in the first time. Maybe thinking about cooking. If you cook something for the first time, how much of you get the things done in the right manner for the first time? It is so certain that most probably it is going to be a mess. So that doesn't mean that cooking is not meant for you. It is to practice and consistency that you would be developing those skill sets so that you will be able to improve the next time. So consistency is the key. Maybe you're new to this particular sales team and you're new to the particular strategies and you're new in particular approach which you're actually following to get your customers to get the purchase done. Even then, have it done consistently, and by doing it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and gradually you will be able to build that skill set and get more result out of it. So consistency is one of the main key which you need to be focusing here. Then comes give the team a certain level of independence to bring in novelty. If you're controlling your team all over the time, just imagine that how you felt when your parents took care of you and when the parents used to say no for everything which you used to ask for when you were a child, right? Can I go there? No. Can I eat that? No. Can you get that for me? No. So when you're actually not being independent, you would be thinking, my parents are saying no to anything. So you might be feeling that in childhood, maybe they are right and you are wrong here. But that is just an example which I took here. But if a manager is saying no to all of these things and manager is not approving any of your suggestions, that is not good, right? You would not be feeling right. And your energy or your motivation would be drying up there. And that should not be the case in whichever sector you're working into. So it is always important for you as a sales manager to give your team a certain level of independency. I'm not saying that you can leave each and everyone freely so that they can do whatever they want. But give them certain level of independency so that whatever they do can be bringing in novelty and can be adding value to the team and to the teammates as well. But make sure that this is not getting in the wrong way possible as well. So giving a certain kind of independency to your team members, it is always going to benefit for you because they'll be trying new things, they'll be trying new strategies, which they are actually thinking that might be working for them, and it might work, might not work. But having that particular independency gives them the energy to try new things, and maybe they'll be bringing up new strategies as well. And the last point here is that treat everyone equally, irrespective of the sales they bring. People would not be performing well all the time. If you see that for this particular month, person A was bringing more number of sales and drastic sales, right? So he was certainly very happy with the sales and he was able to bring in more number of transactions as well. And in the next month, person A was also performing very well. At the same time, there was other purple, B, C, D, and E. So they were also improving. They were also learning from them. Maybe in 5 to 6 months, they will also be able to generate the maximum number of sales which they can. So give them time, give them the training and upskill them. So and make sure that you are adding value to each of your employees so that they are developing, they are improving from what they used to be. So it is always mandatory for you to give respect. Even if one particular person is not able to bring in a number of sales and he didn't achieve target, that doesn't mean that this particular employee is not of value. Give them time, training, and also help them to develop as a person and also as a sales team. Right. So only then they'll be able to develop and also they'll be able to bring in more value which you never saw. Maybe the person who brought in the maximum number of sales would be far behind this particular person when the proper training and skill sets were acquired by this particular team. So it is always mandatory for you to treat everyone equally because you never know who will be outperforming than the next month when you're giving the proper training and guidance. Moving on to the next module, strategies of sales management. Let's have a look at that. So these are the 5 strategies which I have put forward in following sales management. First one would be set realistic targets. And next one would be hire the right candidates for the roles. Third one would be provide trainings to upskill the team. The fourth one, reward your top performers. Fifth one would be measure the progress of your team. Setting the realistic targets would be the first strategy which you need to be implementing. If you're actually not giving practical or achievable targets to your employees, it is so certain that there's no use of getting that particular target done. And the customers or the particular people who are actually in your team, in your sales team, would be so certain that they will not be achieving the target. And if that is the case, they will not be working at all because they are so certain that they will not be achieving the target and they'll be thinking, anyway, I will not be able to achieve the target and why would I work? So it is so important for you to set realistic targets so that it will be achievable for your teammates or to your sales team so that they will be working for that and they will be striving to work for that and they will be so sure that they will be achieving it. So it need not be so easy, but it should be realistic and it should be achievable as well. Next one, hire the right candidates for the roles. So if you're actually hiring the candidates for sales management, you should be knowing that their communication skills should be at the top level. A top-notch communication skills are required for the team members whom you are processing in your sales team. Only then they will be able to communicate and pass on the ideology behind this particular product. How can you market? How can you increase the sales? And how can you specifically talk about the particular features which the product is processing? So if they are actually not having the right communication skills, it is your responsibility to give them the training and the upskilling for them so that they'll be able to improve themselves and they'll be able to develop themselves from which they were actually before. So that they'll be able to improve and they'll be able to communicate well. They'll be able to inculcate all those necessary activities which they need to be inculcating and they'll be able to bring in more results. That is the third strategy here, which is nothing but provide trainings to upskill the team. They'll be able to upskill, they'll be able to develop, and they'll be able to bring in more benefits, more sales, and they'll be actually become an asset for your organization itself. So that is why providing trainings to upskill your team is important. Next one would be rewarding your top performers. If you're rewarding your top performers, you will be getting to know that, okay, fine, I am getting recognized to the work which I have done. I have been recognized, I have been given the appreciation, I have been given the feedback, and how can I improve? So if you're working so hard and so hard and so hard, and if you're not being recognized, what would you feel? Array, I'm working all the day and night, I'm bringing in sales, I'm meeting all the targets, and who cares? No one cares actually. If that is the mindset your sales team members are having, they'll not be working, they'll not be having the motivation to work, and they'll not be satisfied also. Because they are working all the time, they are not getting any recognition, and no one is actually appreciating the effort which they are making in. So it is so important for your top performance to be recognized and give them their reward or appreciation which they actually deserve. So this is also one major point which you need to be considering in your sales team. And next comes measure the progress of your team. What is the progress? How far have we achieved right now? And how far will we be going? So what is the trend like? Is it an upline trend or downline? So we should be actually measuring each and every activity which is being conducted within the team, within your sales team, and how the performance is going on and how can you improve. So all those things can be managed by measuring the progress of your team. So these are the various strategies which I have put forward for you in the strategies that you need to be following in sales management. Now let's move on to our very next module, talking about the sales manager and the responsibilities which he possesses. So in order to run your sales management team, you should be actually having a manager who is managing the sales management team. And he's nothing but, who is he? Sales manager. And what are the tasks, responsibilities, and activities which are held with a sales manager? That is exactly what we'll be covering or we'll be dealing with in this particular course or in this particular module of this particular course on sales management, which is nothing but responsibilities of a sales manager. The first one would be oversee the regional and local sales and manage the sales team. So you would be knowing that, is it in your regional area or in your local area which you are getting more sales? What is the demand like? What is the number of sales that you are getting from all these locations? And which are the areas which you should be focusing on? Maybe you are getting more number of sales from the regional area and you need to be actually supplying lot many items or products to that area. So you should be focusing on which is the area you should be actually giving the prime attention to. And if you think that you're not getting even the basic number of sales from the local area, you should be thinking, okay, fine, there is something issue going on with there and with that location and something needs to be done to improve in that particular location. So All these things are coming to the responsibility of a sales manager, whether in what area we should be focusing on, what is the improvement that we should be trying to incorporate, and how can we able to improve from what we are now to what we should be becoming in the next day. And next comes ensure that the sales team addresses to all the customer queries and concerns. And that is also one most important point which you should be keeping in your mind. If your customers are having concerns, confusions, doubts, which they are having on your particular product, they should be actually addressed to all those questions. They should be having the opportunity to know more and understand their concerns, understand what queries they're having. And it is the responsibility of sales manager to look into it and make sure that all these concerns and queries and questions and doubts are being answered in the right way properly, so that all the concerns and doubt are clear, and they know that, okay, fine, when I was having any concerns, this team was there for me to guide me and to make all these confusions clear. So if I buy the product, okay, they will be providing the similar service to me even after I provide or even after I purchase the particular product. So the service which they would be offering to me would also be becoming similar. And if you're not even able to understand or give answers to the queries even before buying the product, the customers will be like, okay, fine, they don't even want the purchase to be happening in the first place. And if that is the case, how would be the service if I am buying this particular product? So all these things would be coming or would be running in the mind of a customer. The next one would be monitor the customer interest and direct the sales accordingly. So you should be first understanding what is the particular interest the customer is having, what is the need is he having, and how can you address to it, and what would be the right product for that particular customer according to his needs. So it is the responsibility of the sales team to understand what he requires, what he needs, and how he'll be able to accomplish whatever he needs to be. So he needs to be, or the particular salesperson needs to be taking the informed decision here and guiding the particular potential customer to the right product accordingly. The next one would be analyze the sales data and bring in inputs from the data. You should be studying data and recognizing what is the sales like, what is the sales going to be, because from the relevant sales data, you will be able to get how the trend is going like. What would be the trend going in the next month? And when comparing to the previous years, you will be able to get a clear idea on that as well. There will be getting a similar kind of approach in the number of sales which is going to be happening in the future as well. So you will be able to get a clear clarity on what would be the kind of trend that you would be gaining in the particular months as well, so that you will be able to plan accordingly and implement and manage your sales team in the efficient manner possible. Next one would be predict the sales and profitability of the products and service. So just by going through the sales data, you will be able to get a clear idea on that, so that we will be able to get the profitability and what would be the number of sales that you would be getting in this particular month. Maybe you're actually offering some kind of discounts or offering to your customers depending upon the potential time. So if that is the kind of scenario, you would be able to make a calculation on that. If you're actually offering this particular product at this particular price, and if you're able to get this many number of transactions in this particular month, what would be the profitability? And what would be the number of transactions that you need to be making to make it a profit? And what would be the reasonable amount that you need to be incorporating with the particular offer price to your customers so that they are actually willing to buy the product? So all these things can be accommodated and can be found out by studying sales data as such. The next would be determining the pricing plans, discount rates, and discount period. So that's exactly what I have mentioned right now. The discount plan needs to be decided on how you'll be able to implement those things and making more profit, not just by reducing the price, but also by calculating the profitability and what would be the duration of that particular discount which you are offering to your customers. Is it just for 1 month, 1 week, or for the entire year? So depending upon the product which you're offering, depending upon the category which you're into, you would be able to decide upon that as well. So what would be the pricing plans? What would be the profitability, the discount rates, and also the duration of the discount which you're offering to your customers? So all these things needs to be decided by a sales manager. And the final responsibility of a sales manager would be plan and coordinate training programs for the sales team. If the sales team is not able to work effectively and efficiently, you'll not be able to generate sales, you'll not be able to generate transactions and generate revenue. And if that is not the case, and all these things are not happening, you'll not be able to bring in profit. No matter how much amount of time, effort, resources, and technology which you have put into, if you're not able to generate sales, no matter what, you'll not be able to generate profit. And if that is the case, your company would be running on loss. So it is very much important for you to hire the right candidates, give them the proper trainings, and also make them in the right chance or give them the right position so that they will be able to perform to the best of their ability. Now let's come to our last topic for this particular course on sales management, which is nothing but the qualities of a sales manager. What are the qualities that you should be possessing if you are a sales manager? Let's have a look at that. Passion, leadership, integrity, mentorship, loyalty, communication skills, organizing and planning skills, and eagerness to learn more. These are the various qualities which you should be possessing if you are going to be a sales manager. Coming to the passion. If you're actually passionate enough, you would be having the energy, you will be having the motivation to drive people to make necessary sales and also to motivate others as well. You will be actually creating the vibe within your team and for your customers who are actually listening to you. That is the main important quality that you should be possessing if you're into sales manager. Next comes leadership, the ability to drive sales and to drive your persons who are actually part of your team to drive sales. That is exactly what you need to be doing. The next one would be leadership, your ability to drive people to perform well, to bring in sales. And how well are you being able to do that? How are you able to motivate people? And how well are you able to control, coordinate, and plan things accordingly and make all the activities that needs to be taking place within your team to the best way possible? So you should be making sure that whatever things are happening should be happening in the right way. The kind of leadership skills, the kind of managerial roles that you need to be taking here is going to be heavy here because you need to be motivating them, you need to be managing the sales activities, you need to be talking with the customers and addressing to their queries as well. So if you are the right leader, you will be able to motivate people and make things done in the right proper way by guiding them in the right way as well. So if you are a good leader, you will be able to motivate people, get things done in the proper way, and also bring in more sales as well. So that you will be able to perform, your team will be able to perform, and you will be able to bring in more profit by making more number of sales volume. Next one would be integrity. Integrity with which you are working. Maybe you're working for one company, providing the sales for this particular product. And there will be other products also which needs to be taken care of by a different department. If that is the case, how well are you being able to manage that? How well are you able to communicate with people? And how well are you communicating the right things? False information, false promises, false guarantees are all those things that you should be avoiding. And all these things can be affecting the brand image as well. Giving false promises and all those things can be affecting your brand image as well. And all such activities needs to be eliminated so that you will be able to perform to the best of your ability and that people would not be bad mouthing regarding your company, your products, and whatever services which you are providing to them. The next one would be mentorship. As I've already mentioned, a good leader, a good manager would be passionate enough, would be having the leadership skills, and would be guiding the team in the right way possible. There will be a lot of people who needs motivation, who needs to be engaged with all the activities that he needs to be taking care of. Maybe he's not having the energy. Maybe he's not actually satisfied with the particular performance which he is doing. How can you get this particular candidate to perform well? What is the kind of motivation or mentorship that you will be able to give to those particular candidates who needs to improve? What is the kind of trainings that you can incorporate within your team so that you will be able to upskill your team entirely and bring in more benefit, more sales, more revenue? So if you're having that quality, you will be able to bring in more sales by your employees or the candidates who are working for you. You will be able to generate more sales volume, revenue, and thereby getting more transactions happening, which will direct you to enable more profit as well. And the next one would be communication skill. Communication is the key. Communicating the right ideology, right concept, and explaining detailedly about your product or the service which you are offering to them, and answering to the concerns, the questions, or the confusion which your potential customer is having. So all these things comes into picture. So addressing to all these concerns is also one of the most important responsibility of a sales manager. And therefore, communication skill is also a basic necessity or a quality which a sales manager should be possessing. Next comes organizing and planning skill. Any manager, let it be any department which you're working for, maybe sales, maybe content, maybe operations, or let it be anything. So if you're a manager, it is so certain that the basic quality or the one of the basic quality which you should be possessing is organization and planning skill. You should be organizing the tasks accordingly, depending upon the priority in which it is to be delivered. And how will you be able to do that? If you're given a deadline, you should be making sure that all the activities, all the tasks, and all the responsibilities which are to be completed within that time span needs to be completed. So in order to get that particular thing done, you should be planning it accordingly. You should be giving each and every task its own time so that it is possible for us to achieve all the tasks and activities which we need to be fulfilling practically. So we should be getting all the time and enough time to get all those things done, right? So we should be organizing, we should be planning, and we should be assigning all these tasks accordingly within the team so that we'll be able to deliver the contents on time itself. And the last one would be eagerness to learn more. If you think that you are a great manager, you are wrong. There is always scope for improvement. No one is absolutely perfect. You need to be studying, you need to be learning, you need to be researching. You should be actually updated with the market. How can you get updated? You should be researching. What is the market trend like? And how are the competitors doing? What are the new strategies or technologies which they are incorporating within their workforce? And how is it working for them? And what are the kind of strategies which have actually been successful for them as well? So will we be able to accommodate all those things? So in order to make sure it is happening in the perfect way, we should be learning. And eagerness to learn more is one of the best quality any manager should be possessing. Only then we will be able to get updated in the market, how the market is going like, what is the trend in the market, and what would be the necessary action that you need to be taking right now to improve in the future. If late or if the particular decision is delayed, you will not be in a position to make the necessary changes and get the particular output when required. So these would be the qualities which you should be possessing if you are aspiring to be a sales manager. So by now, we have completed all the topics that we had planned for to covering in this particular course on sales management. We started off by understanding what is sales management, managing our sales and trying to bring in more sales so that we'll be running in profit, right? And then we went on to understand the objectives that we are having in sales management. What are the sales objectives that we are having? We are having to increase the revenue, increase the number of sales transactions that is happening, increase the sales volume, and thereby bring in more profit. Then we went on to understand on the functionalities. What are the various functions that a sales management team should be focusing on? He should be actually hiring the right candidate, giving training to them, and also making all the new strategies which is to be implemented in the sales team as well. And then we went on to understand on the principles and strategies that you will be able to incorporate in your sales management team so that whenever you're doing something, you need to be doing it the best way possible. So what are the best practices and the principles and strategies which you will be able to incorporate? That is exactly what we saw next. And finally, we went on to understand on sales manager aspect. What are the responsibilities which is held with a sales manager, and also regarding the qualities which he should be possessing. And these are the various topics that we had in this particular course on sales management. I hope you had a fun and informative session with me. Let's catch up with the next video, and thank you.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video with any queries or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.